I have no idea if you heard that intro. That intro was super cool, but I don't know if you heard it. So we're gonna try some stuff tonight. Let me know if you can hear anything. Let me know if you can hear everything okay. I'm gonna start doing at least weekly live streams of different stuff. I have so much stuff to do, so much stuff backed up. I just picked 10 projects at random and I'm just gonna start doing them. And I think I'm gonna start with this one. It would be a dice tower, but it's like this overgrown temple. I did not print it as an actual dice tower. It's just hollow terrain. It's just solid terrain. But I think it could be really fun to do. So let's get started. I'm going to do a couple different grays. We're going to get the bricks out of the way. This one's going to end up getting a whole lot of extra stuff added to it. All my paints are dried up. And we'll use a little graphite color. And a little of this dove gray. This brush might not be the best brush for this. Yeah, there we go. And I'll be employing my technique of messy first coats, because this gray really doesn't matter because it's going to get covered up in 100 different places with other colors. So this can be pretty splotchy. This is honestly just going to show through by the time we're done with this. And so everything here, everything I'm doing here is just like I'm trying stuff out. So if you can think of ways that I can make certain things more interesting, times I should do things I should do, I am vastly open to suggestions. Anything that might improve this and make it more enjoyable. So if you have any ideas, don't hesitate to give me feedback. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm just taking these couple shades of gray and going around anywhere where the actual structure itself is showing. And then even in a couple places where it's not, just to have that background color in there. So this will all get covered. Like, most of this will get covered up later. This is pretty overgrown. But I have really cool ideas for this. And I do have Facebook actually pulled up, but I am going to assume that I have the same problems that I have with Trash Panda Podcast, in the sense that I might not see comments made there. So if you do make any type of comments and it looks like I'm ignoring them, maybe move on to Twitch or YouTube. Sometimes on Trash Panda Podcast, we're not so super worried about things like comments because the show does get recorded. And you don't want to fill that time up with just addressing comments. But that's what this is. This is a live stream. Like, we're not going to treat this, like that.
It's been almost.
And then that's. I'll have it turned down. Oh, yeah. See, I didn't even see that comment. If anybody knows why we're having that issue with the comments, I know I need to install some plugins with OBS. But I still would think that the comments should show up. I'm just trying to think of different ways. Anything that... Yeah, fuck you, Screech. I got work on my mind, and I'm constantly dealing with dumbass Outlook, OST errors, and everything else. So I say "oh," and my brain just jumps to it. But I don't expect this to ever be like a giant following. Anyways, maybe live streaming isn't the way to do this. Like, maybe this would be better suited for like a Zoom or a Skype with people who are interested. Any suggestions taken, and I'm just trying to figure stuff out. I don't have the time or energy to, properly light and film everything and make these YouTube videos like all the other artists and terrain people and stuff like that. That's not going to happen. I don't have that type of time. Needs to be easier. Maybe. I don't know shit about. I'm too old for TikTok. I don't know anything about that. And then, you know what? I think these almost look naturally cut into the. I'm gonna go with a different gray for that. I'm gonna make it a little darker. Let me finish these bricks first. Get these bricks in here. This is going to look really cool when it's done, though. I got some pretty cool ideas for it. And let's darken up this a bit. Just a subtle little difference, but when it's all together, you'll notice it. To do, but how is the gaming going, Screech? I watch every now and then. I watch whenever I can, whenever I see you go live. I don't play those games, so I probably don't respect the talent, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch anybody do anything that they're really passionate about. Yeah, fucking kids. Yeah, that'd be at least something I've played. Was it just me, or was Borderlands... Did Borderlands 3 not have every reason to be better than 2, but it just wasn't? Or is that just me? Like, I felt like it had all of the right components. It should have been just infinitely better, but it wasn't. it was still a really enjoyable playthrough. It was still really good, but I mean, you're talking about Borderlands 2, which was fucking epic. Yeah, who did they cast as Scooter in the movie? I'm not so sure. I'm scared about that movie because we've never had that good of a video game movie. Some of that casting, I'm 100% behind. Like, I think Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis is really good. I think Kevin Hart as Roland is really good. But Claptrap's a robot. Why the hell isn't the voice that plays Claptrap Claptrap? Why do they get Jack Black? I don't know if I'm going to like Jack Black as Claptrap. Same thing with Tiny Tina. That should have been Ashley Birch. Ashley Birch is who the fuck Tiny Tina is. And it's not even like she couldn't kind of pull off the look. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, I know video game movies are video game movies. They are what they are. Did they cast Mordecai? I don't even know. Is that a no-name actor or is it somebody I should know? I hope, because I mean, based on that cast alone, that's got to be a pretty big blockbuster. So hopefully, maybe we're rounding a corner of what video game movies can be. I mean, I think we all finally agreed to stop giving you bowl movie projects, which is a good step in the right direction right there. There's not a lot of people who I will mock their art, but I'm confident that if you give me the type of money you give you Bull to do movies, I can make better movies. These stairs are definitely going to need another coat. Let's see here. Almost done with this boring gray. Just got to hit that top and finish these steps. I do hate the design of this particular tower. How these steps literally turn into nothing. There's no gate or door or anything. They just fold into the tree, which is weird. As Just want to get a couple more places where color's going to need to bleed through. I'll be here. Thanks, Screech. Just the top. We're working with acrylics on this too, so I should be able to move on to something else and then come right back to this. It'll be dry enough to move on. Because I would like to see this partially through to completion. It won't be completely done tonight, but I would like to get all of the groundwork done. This is actually, like, as far as a big tower goes, this is actually much smaller scale than I would have normally liked to have done. Some of that gray is definitely going to need to be coated twice. But there we go. We can first coat of different grays on there. We'll set that aside. You know what I don't have? Water. I don't have any water prep. Alright, and I think in the meantime, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some sandpaper. And I think while that dries, I got a first layer of this 10mm SMG painted, and it let me see the imperfections that I need to try to get out. So I think we'll work on that. This is going to be a pretty cool piece when it's done. I'll do this for a minute, but this is probably the most boring part of any build. Plus, I don't know, tell me how bad that sound is. Does it just sound awful? Because the mic's right above me. If it sounds awful, sanding might be something I'll have to do off camera. I mean, I could have seen a lot of these imperfections without painting, but if you throw a layer of spray paint on it first, or a primer, just makes it that much easier to see all the imperfections. Grab a file because there's a couple large pieces. Yeah, there we go. And somehow didn't get cleaned out when I cleaned the print. And better for hard to reach places. This is one of those types of things that doesn't look like there's a lot of imperfections until you really actually start breaking down and doing them, and then you're like, fuck man, there's imperfections everywhere. There are a lot more than you originally would have thought. I mean, I'm sure you could see all of the, like, let's see. I've cleaned a lot of that out already. Like, you could see, like, there's gonna be a lot of cleanup. Come on, focus. There'll be a lot of cleanup there. A lot. And you, man, I'll tell you what, you will be tempted to just not do it. You'll be like, oh, it don't look too bad, but compared to what it can look like if you do take the time to do all of this little stuff. Every last little bump, every tiny little bump, it breaks the immersion. It's just a reminder that it's printed with plastic. Now there's absolutely some of this that I'm going to cover with weathering and grime. but I'm still going to address it. A lot of this can absolutely be hidden. But the less you have to hide, the more free you can be with your vision when it does come to weather. And with 3D printing and everything else becoming more accessible, that's what I hope people like I hope everybody does something like what me and Screech and everybody does. I hope everybody does this type of stuff. This is the future of content. I'm not saying that people are going to decide to watch people like me over TV shows, but this is the future of content. And any little tip or technique that I might have might save you some time in the future. And I'd love to watch somebody else's stuff that might save me time in the future. And I'm doing these because they're self-motivation for me. I have closets full. I have a closet full of projects to work on. And motivation is sometimes hard. I don't care if I finish things every week, as long as I'm making progress. And if I have a commitment to get on here and show you guys some stuff, it helps me get them done. And if there's anybody out there that is thinking, all one of you, which I don't even know who it is, but anybody out there who might be thinking about doing something like this, once you get over the initial fear, and by this I mean like live streaming, if you don't live stream, once you get over the initial fear of it, it's extremely therapeutic. The worst thing for me is the silences. I mean, of course I wish more people watch, duh, who doesn't? But I wish more people watch to engage, which would help me not be so silent all the time. The silence is deafening to me. I'm going to be out of frame for just a sec while I get this back end. That was dirty. And most of these will eventually be for sale. Custom work available. There's some decent work. But I think I'm going to put that aside for now. And go back to this tower. So yeah, some of this is going to need another coat. I throw that down. And I almost just mixed a new gray to do another coat because every little nuance version of the... I mean, we're talking about stone here. It's not like it's one gray color repeated. I think building terrain might be one of my favorite things to build. Which is so weird because I don't play the games. I don't have the patience for tabletop gaming. Not at all. Man, this one... I actually think it's going to be a little difficult to do this one because there is so much foliage already growing on this thing in the print that when it comes time to come back through and add foliage, it's going to be really, really, really easy to overwhelm this model. And it's a small model. So we don't want to overwhelm it. I think it would be real easy to just make this thing a tower of vegetation. Alright, there's that. I am going to move on to some browns, though. Let's get... Thankfully that was a bubble. Some burnt umber. This poop color, slightly lighter, not much. And then some, yeah, that's not mixed well. Raw sienna. It was way too much raw sienna that came out of there way too fast. And we'll start there. Now comes a time where I have to be a little bit more careful where I paint, because I'm coming up on sections of gray that I don't want to have to come back through and hit again just because I'm being sloppy. But I'm going to use this burnt umber as the base for any of these really thick tree trunks. Every now and then I'll dip it into that slightly lighter poop color. Some color bleed is fine as long as, but we don't want brown on the brick. And in this really, really, really strange case, the edges don't need to be super clean with this model. That was actually not root, but whatever. Because of how much foliage we will be putting on it later. Damn it. Slightly drag the brush over some of these roots. And again, not great practice to be sloppy. I hate being sloppy, but in the case of this model, so much stuff is going to be going over it. It's okay. I want to get a little bit of green behind these branches. So I'm going to take some just a little bit of Hunter, not much, and let that mix with the brown every now and then. I'm not that concerned. I just want some, like back there, just some different color. This is supposed to be foliage, so get that green on real quick. Same with this. Like, this is definitely not a good model for like teaching precision or practicing precision because of all of the extra stuff that's going to get added to it. Precision doesn't matter. We're just basically going to put some greens, some grays, and some browns on. Then some washes. And then we are going to go crazy on everything else. Really need to be paying better attention to some of this. But alright, I got the green on where I want the green, I think. Except for this one little piece right here that I'm like holding. Through. What's up, Joe? What you doing? Right now, I'm just kind of going through a couple different projects, going back and forth while shit dries. This is it's a dice tower originally, but I didn't print it as a dice tower. I just printed it as full terrain, which is weird because it's kind of a weird scale to be full terrain. But it's a really weird model that gets painted kind of sloppy because, man, we are going to put a lot on this when it's done. Like, we are basically just putting base coats down at this point. And then we're going to come back through with all kinds of foliage and shit. This one's going to be really cool. we won't get to see. You'll have to tune back in whenever the hell I try another one to see the end product of this, because yeah, there's 3 stages to do this in. First we got to get all these bases down, then I have to seal and use some washes on it. Then we'll be able to come back in with real foliage and make it look like a decent paint job to something fucking special. All we're really doing right now is just splashing some color in the right places. Basically just going to end up covering a lot of this up. This is just the color that's going to shine through from everything that we put on it. Thank you. You'll probably like what I was working on a second ago. I'll set this aside for a sec so I can show you what I was working on a second ago. I'm working on cleaning up process of my Fallout 10mm SMG. But it's got a lot of cleanup to do before we can start really weathering it. Right. There's a lot of imperfections in that print. That's cool. That's cool. That ends. Man, this is gonna be cool when it's done, but you gotta, if you don't have the same vision that I have in my head, you're definitely like, what the hell? Like, it's not even that good. No, like, this is just, what I put down here is just what's going to show through from all of the other stuff. This is just, like, you're barely going to see any of this color. you're barely going to see any of that color. And let me set that aside, and then Joey, let me go grab that for you and show you. It's not done, but it's come a lot farther. Let me grab it. So here's where we are at with the Jeepers Creepers truck. I did get the real grill printed out and got all of the details in the front, but I still have to put like better lights in. I did put them up here, but I need to do that down here. It still needs mirrors and a windscreen, and definitely this is just a basic paint job for it. But yeah, that one's gonna be fucking cool. That is basically fucking perfect. That end here, that's gonna be a really cool one. I wish I wouldn't have printed it quite so damn big. That's one of the reasons why that's kept me from working on it. It's so damn big. But the cab, this one was a little different. The cab was a print. It's like a 56 cab over engine Chevy truck, but everything else, all the little details, everything else I had to build completely from scratch, which is not something I normally do. I print and finish. I don't scratch build a lot of times. But built completely from scratch from just this little chipboard and a couple metal like garage sale signs, aluminum garage sale signs, and coffee stirrers and shit like that. I wouldn't have done it that size. I don't know who that is. Hello? Yes, it is. Yes. All right, thank you. Yeah, I had to answer that one. All right. What's next? I don't even know. Guess I could work on that since I'm supposed to actually have this done. Actually, no, I can't because I don't have batteries. Well, you can look at it. Something else I'm working on. It is a watcher from Horizon Zero Dawn. Little thing I'm supposed to have done for the podcast, but I actually don't have batteries to do that, so can't do that right now. I could pull up this. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass to paint. But I can start on it. Alright. More grays. Graphite again. Black again. this guy printed out. He's been damaged. So I need to fix him first. That's the first thing I need to do. That all across here. Then get my zip kicker. Give that just a sec. I hate painting stuff that has been so heavily spray painted. But yellow is about the worst fucking color in the world to paint. Cyrax is yellow, so I spray painted the whole fucking thing yellow. This one is not going to be fun. But in the end, it's probably going to look pretty damn cool. Or like shit, one of the two. This is going to be all or nothing. And completely different than the other one we were doing, because this one requires everything to be pretty damn straight and perfect, because I can't just come back through and touch up this fucking yellow spray paint. My only hope is that if I do screw this up really bad, I weather the shit out of it and make it look like this is Cyrax from the end of a Mortal Kombat tournament or something. And those eyes are going to be such a bitch. Because I'm going to try to do this glow paint, but that shit basically dries clear. So if it's going to dry clear, it means it's going to be about 70 layers of it to get it to work right. And I actually do want to do this while it's wet. If I get close, the lines will kind of like suck up against each other. I need a smaller point. Fuck it, don't get much smaller. I am much, much better at painting towers and shit than I am figures. But that's why I need to do more of them, because I'm not that good at them. But that also makes them that much more gratifying. I'm also painting very, very thick with this. And that's for a couple different reasons. A, I don't want to do this incredibly careful paint job multiple times. And B, it helps me control. Like with these, like these aren't super small spaces. They're medium. They're not big swaths that I'm just hitting a paintbrush on, but they're not super small. So it's almost like it helps me control the paint better. And I don't know if this model is exactly any one certain interpretation of Cyrax, but a lot of what I see on the internet is slightly different than this. So some of this is actually open to my interpretation here. Boy, do I hate this. This one's gonna make me feel really good when it's done, though, unless I totally balls it up. If you never hear me talk about this one again, you know I totally balls it up. This is a pain in the ass right here. Yeah, I'm not going to work on this one very long. Only because the stress is making this not fun. The stress of fucking this up. Something tells me you'll see me work on this one for a long time. Little by little. Fuck. I thought this part would be a lot easier. This is stressing me out too. Definitely want to get this, what I call messier, or what I would call, not what I call, messier painting out of the way. Get that off while it's still wet. I think that's going to be the extent of what I do with this today. Because, oh boy, thing puckers my butt. God damn it. Thing puckers my butthole a lot. So, that's what we're going to do today with him. I don't know there's much else I can do with this. Once it fully dries, I'll seal it and then put some I'll put some washes on it. Next time you see this, I'll have it sealed and washed, so it'll look much better already. But we'll be ready to do the final stuff on this one. See about this. Hang on. So I guess we could try that. Should be pretty easy. Mix. This should be pretty dang easy. It's just going to be a matter of getting everything right. Dark brown, light brown dry brush, black stitches. Should be pretty straightforward.
letting the seams stay black if I can. Actually, hit a few spots with another coat here in a few minutes maybe, but set that aside. Now this poor guy is pretty much just gray. Hitting some children's shows today. Or movies, sorry, shows. This guy's just a lot of gray. Base coat him, just a lot of gray. Gonna need some more. See, this is part of my problem. Is the reason why I keep opening these all the way is because I'm running very, very dangerously low on paint, and what paint I have. Look at that. I mean, it's half dried up. I know this stuff isn't that expensive, but you see my wall of paints up there, like they're all kind of like that. I need to basically completely refresh my acrylic paint stock. I'm doing good with like my metallics and my testers, and there's definitely some I'd like to try out for sure, but for the most part, my metallics are fine. I've neglected the cheap and expensive acrylics for a long time. I basically need like those the dollar canisters that I keep squeezing out. I basically need to go buy a couple hundred of those. That's not true. A couple hundred would be excessive. But I need to refresh my good paints, my model paints. And probably 100 bottles of the cheap acrylics. And then every 3D printer's nightmare, I'm out of filament. Which is fine. I have enough projects to keep me busy for a long time. I have enough projects to keep me busy for the foreseeable future. I'm starting to think as I do this, though, that I think a Skype call might be much more fun. All right, that's probably gonna be it for me today, at least. Next time, I'll have all this stuff base coated, and we'll be moving on to more interesting and intricate stuff. But if there is anybody watching, check out this fucking outro.